What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how wide receivers can avoid injuries. So we're going to be talking about two specific examples of the most common ways that wide receivers injure their knee and how you guys can avoid this with proper form and proper mechanics. So I hope this video helps you guys out, but also you guys, if you're a wide receiver and you want to learn over 200 plus wide receiver drills to improve your route running, your press releases, etc., check out that very first link in the description below for our 8-week wide receiver on-field workout schedule. What you'll get access to, it's an 8-week daily workout plan for on-field drills for wide receivers. We show examples, we give you sets and reps, all the above. So check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get started with this video. So now on this router, this is from John Mechie at Alabama. And obviously, I don't like to talk too much about players getting injured because this is a horrible thing that happens. It's part of the game, unfortunately. But we're going to talk about how we can avoid it today. So we're going to show this example. And I guarantee you, Mechie is not thinking about this kind of stuff. He's not trying to rush it during a game. He's not thinking about having bad form. It's just one of those things that can happen to a lot of athletes. And you see it happen to a lot of young athletes who develop bad habits when they're in the high school years, younger years. So then they get a little bit faster, they get a little bit more explosive, and they do that bad habit. That is when the injury can happen. So this specific injury, Mechie's breaking down on a route. And what he does is he tries to get out of the break too quick with his upper half. So this is what I call, like, if I'm working with a receiver and he's running a comeback and he starts doing this, I say that he's starting to cheat the route. He's trying to get out of the break with his upper half before his feet plant in the grass to drive him out. Now, why is that a problem? Because when your upper half is trying to go back to the ball, but your feet are still moving forward, that plant step ends up outside of your frame. And that is ultimately what ends up hurting yourself. You hurt your knee, you could hurt your Achilles, because you're moving with so much speed and you're trying to stop on a dime and break down. And when that foot steps outside your frame and you plant wrong, that knee can go, the ankle can go, like I said. So we have to make sure that my feet are the thing that drive me out. Anytime that you guys make a cut, whether you're snapping down on a comeback, whether you're running a post, that break point, your feet need to stay underneath your frame. You need to maintain a knee bend. You cannot land extended. You cannot land heel toe, which is what we're going to be talking about in a second. So we have to make sure that these feet stay under my frame so I don't put that added pressure on my knee. Don't try to cheat this thing by turning. Let the feet plant and let the feet drive you out. So let's play this thing full speed, and then we're going to show an example of a wide receiver, Kyle Phillips from the Titans, making a break similar to this, but with good form and what you guys would like to shoot for. Obviously, it's a horrible thing. I don't like to publicize the fact that he got hurt because that's one of the worst injuries you could possibly have. But it's good for the younger guys out there to be able to learn from it so you don't fall into those bad habits currently, right? So now let's look at this route from Kyle Phillips. So he's doing the same type of break. He's running a stop route. But I want you to pay attention to his last step of this break. So when he snaps down, obviously, and the thing is too about trying to cheat the route, as I like to say, is you got the quarterback throwing the ball fast. You got the quarterback getting the ball out of his hands. He's throwing it before you break down. You want to try to get your head around fast. But again, it's so important to rep the details in the offseason leading up to the season. It's so important to do drills that focus on your feet being inside your frame so you could get faster at it. It's no different than, let's say somebody learned how to walk for the first time. They start off slow. They don't run right away. They start off slow, they get comfortable, and then they start jogging, then they start sprinting. Same thing with the break. If you're trying to rush things and get out too fast without the form, you're going to hurt yourself. So look at what Phillips does here. When he breaks, every single step that he takes, even the last plant step, is inside of his frame. That foot never gets extended. He maintains a knee bend the whole time, and he's able to drive back. That is the exact form that you want. Feet inside your frame, minimal steps, no wasted motion, but inside your frame enough to drive back to the ball. Now, another thing that will kill wide receivers on a break like this is that they don't get low enough to allow themselves the knee bend. So they'll run up to the break, they run with a lot of speed, and then they go to snap down, but they don't actually drop their butt down. They don't bring their chin to their knee. They don't drop their hips. They will try to plant extended with a lot of speed. And that is also where you can hurt yourself. So like I said, fellas, these feet have to stay under your frame. But if you don't get low enough and you don't maintain that knee bend, there's not much give. There's not much balance. And that is how also we can hurt myself. So let's play this thing again full speed. And now we're going to show another example from Jameson Williams, how he plants wrong because he lands on his heel first. That causes a knee injury as well. So we're playing this thing in slow-mo, and I want you to see how he cuts and how that can be the cause of a lot of injuries for guys. Then we're going to show, obviously, another example of good form, right? So when you guys are making a cut, So many guys, like they're either putting the brakes on because they got a defender trying to tackle them, they're running a post route, they're running an out route. They try to over-exaggerate the cut and reach. Now, not only will reaching outside your frame lose you explosion, lose you speed, it's an indicator to the DB. Those are all the things technically, right, that we don't want to do. But also when you guys reach outside your frame and this step goes long and you strike the ground wrong, you strike with your heel first, that is when problems happen. So when you guys hit the ground and your heel hits first, your knee cannot absorb that force. There has to be an extension when your heel hits the ground first. So like I said, you're running a post route, you're running an out route, you're running a slant. When you cut, we cannot land on the heel first because when that leg extends like it does because of improper foot strike and you're moving with a lot of speed and the cut's outside your frame, that is when the knee will give. Or the ankle or the Achilles. You can hurt other things other than your knee. So we can't strike the ground on my heel, fellas. Now, again, like I said, I guarantee you Jameson Williams is not thinking about that. He's not thinking, I'm going to put my heel down to slow myself down. It's just a mistake. It's a mistake that happens to a lot of wide receivers. Now, why do I tell you this? Because it seems like something you can't avoid. But just like anything else, just like a quarterback developing a throwing motion, quarterback's not thinking about his motion. He's just throwing. He's done it so many dang times that it's a habit. When you guys are doing drill work, when you guys are doing cutting work, you have to emphasize this stuff. You got to emphasize cutting on the middle arch of your foot. You got to emphasize cutting inside of your frame, not reaching, not landing heel toe, because that is what can lead to that injury. Most of the time, injuries are from bad habits and not having the strength or the correct form in a position. And you're cut wrong one time and then something snaps. Fellas, you have to build those habits just so you can avoid stuff like this. So just make sure, fellas, when anytime that we make a cut, we are not landing heel first. Because when we go heel, everything starts to extend on my leg. And then when I land flat, that is when the knee can give out. That's when I'm trying to make a cut. This can go the wrong way, essentially. Let's play this thing again, full speed. Again, like I said, don't like to publicize these kinds of things. It's just a good learning moment for the young guys out there so they don't develop these bad habits. They know the reason why certain things happen so they can avoid it. So now, this next clip we're looking at here is from Devonta Smith doing a rocker step. Now, again, he takes a pretty wide step on this. He's doing this 1-2. He's running at a high speed, and he makes a cut. Now, what's the difference? Why didn't he hurt himself on this? Now, there are a lot of things that also can factor into injuries as well, fellas. So you see this leg, he's reaching pretty far, somewhat outside of his frame. But when he strikes the ground, I want you to see what lands first. It's like the middle arch ball of his foot. That is where you can cut safely. You do not want to be on the tippy toes because when you try to cut on the tippy toes, you're going to be off balance, falling forward. I don't think you'll hurt yourself, but you'll be off balance. You don't want to cut on the heel, because when you cut on the heel, usually that means you're reaching for the cut, which will cause your pad level to pop up, and that's an indicator, but also that puts pressure on the knee. You want to cut on that middle arch ball of your foot, because that is where your balance is, but that is where your knee has the most give. That is where you have the most strength when you're at that position. Think of it like when you're doing squats in the gym. You got to be as powerful as possible with your lower half. You're underneath the bar, you're not on your tippy toes. You're underneath the bar, you're not on your heels. You're on the middle arch ball of your foot. That's where your most strength is, and you have the most give with your knees. So when you guys make a cut at a high speed, we have to emphasize being middle arch, ball of the foot. That is where we want to strike. And get it inside your frame the best you can. This might be a little bit wide outside of Devonta Smith's frame. He's bringing his hip, his upper body's going with the cut, so he might feel like he has more balance than normal. But you have to focus, fellas, on being on the middle arch. If you're not on that middle arch, that is where we can hurt ourselves and lose that efficiency at the break point. So let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. One other thing I want to add to, fellas, is, getting in the gym, strengthening your legs, doing a lot of one-legged exercises all helps with this stuff. So a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people talk about, hurt his knee because of this, hurt his knee because of that, but they don't give you any solutions on how to fix it, right? I'm telling you the mechanics of what we need to do, but another thing that will help you with those mechanics is being able to develop leg strength. Get in a squat rack, do a lot of one-legged stuff, one-legged hopping exercise. So you get used to absorbing that force. You build the stability in your ankle and your knee to withstand these cuts. There are steps that you have to take, and there's form that you have to have in order to avoid this type of injury. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Again, great job by Smith, striking the ground middle arch, selling the route obviously, but avoiding that dangerous cut on that rocker step. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. Always great to hear from you guys as usual. And again, fellas, if you would like an 8-week wide receiver on-field workout schedule, everything wide receivers need to do on the field, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.